y'all know about that. But as Scarface said, I found some answers to my issues in that manila folder. You know, I found some answers to my stuff in that manila folder, and it helped me out a ton. And for your clients, you're going to have to find some answers for them. You're going to have to help them find some answers so they can move forward in life. Feelings and behaviors. Why do some people in underserved communities act out? I want you guys to let me know. Why do some people in underserved communities act out? Give me something. Popcorn. Yeah, go for it, bro.
Poverty in the home.
Poverty in the home.
Bitterness.
Bitterness. What else?
Drugs.
Drugs. Anything? Yeah. How's it?
Dysfunctional family.
Dysfunctional family.
Hopelessness.
Hopelessness. Yes,
Money.
absolutely.
Money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh.
So we act out in these underserved communities, and the reason why is like all you guys said, most in those underserved communities have what's called PTSD.
Post-traumatic.
Okay? PTSD. You guys know what PTSD is?
Yes,
What
sir.
is it?
Traumatic stress disorder.
Okay. PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. This is why sometimes we have people acting out in these communities. I want to read this article about post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a psychiatric disorder that can occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event. What's a traumatic event?
Seeing the shooting.
Seeing the
Seeing the
shooting.
shooting. What else?
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence, DV. What else?
Police running into
Police
the house.
Police
brutality.
running your house, police brutality. These are traumatic events that causes post-traumatic
Riots.
stress disorder. What's that?
The riots.
The riots, absolutely, okay? Such as a disaster causes it, serious accident, a terrorist act, war, combat, rape, or other violent personal assaults. You get that? Personal assaults. PTSD has been known by many names in the past, such as shell shock during the year of World War I and combat fatigue after World War II. But PTSD does not just happen to combat veterans. PTSD can occur in all people.
Including children.
PTSD can occur in all people. That's interesting to me because growing up, I thought someone could only get PTSD if they went off to war. I thought you had to go spend some time in war. That's the only way you could get PTSD. But it can occur in all people, all ethnicities, all nationalities, all cultures, all financial backgrounds, and at any age. And we wonder why some become homeless. We wonder why some become gangbangers. We wonder why some become drug addicted. You know, normally I do weekend trainings, 2-day trainings, 8-hour trainings, but I'm doing this for an hour right now. So I'm trying to squeeze a lot into this hour, you guys. So, but I'll probably be doing a breakoff group at the gang conference coming up in 2019 in May. So I'll be able to expound on it a little bit more. There also got some YouTube videos that's coming out as well in the new year. So let's just be teaching more best practices when you're working with these communities. What's something that causes PTSD? Go for it.
Seeing somebody die in front of you.
Seeing somebody die in front of you. What else? Being raped. Okay.
Miscarriages.
Miscarriages. Okay. You got it. Yeah. Grief.
Pretty
Traumatic
much.
experience
That's
happened
traumatic.
to you or someone you know.
Absolutely. So you can be traumatized by just looking at somebody else's trauma.
Right.
Man, you can be traumatized from a distance.
Right.
Domestic violence.
So grief. You know, I saw someone shot. I saw someone killed.
Seeing the police
That
beat
can
up
cause
the
PTSD.
community.
Okay? You run up on your clients, they're doing a lot of grieving, man. The grieving can come from, man, hell, I lost my home. The kids were taken out of the home. What about mom? Okay?
Single mom.
Yeah, single mom.
Yeah.
But your client, your kids, or your young people that you can work with can be traumatized by their mom. Meaning, mom may be out in the community turning tricks. She might be out in the community sleeping with the homies. What does that do to that child?
Traumatized.
Traumatized. Because now I'm angry. Now I got some rage.
The homie sleeping with your mama.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now I'm angry.
That's a problem.
Okay? What about dad though?
He ain't in the house. He
Dad
ain't
in
there.
the house, dad in prison.
He ain't there.
Dad didn't show up. Hell, I don't even know who my dad is.
It's that thing.
Mom did a one-nighter. She don't know who the daddy is.
Trauma.
I'm traumatized by that.
Trauma.
You know, I didn't have a father show up to my graduation.
Trauma.
Okay? So now I'm feeling a lot of pain. You know, I'm feeling a lot of pain. Like Nipsey Hussle said, I'm sitting in front of your apartment complex, rolling up a Swisher, feeling no feelings. Feeling no feelings. Okay? Fake friends. That can cause a lot of trauma. Man, I thought that was my homie, and he ratted me out.
Yeah.
I thought that was my dude. He ended up sleeping with my girl. You know, that could cause some PTSD. You think Shine didn't get no PTSD from Puffy's situation? You know, the rapper Shine. He tried to defend Puffy in the club, but Puffy pinned it all on him. He had to go do that time. Think he wasn't traumatized by that?
Yeah, he was.
You had 10 years to think about it.
Absolutely. Things said and done. Things said and done can cause trauma. You know, I know for me, man, I was touched inappropriately, man. Real talk, facts. I was touched inappropriately when I was 7, 8 years old. And so I had a problem with the LGBTQ community for a long time because I was touched inappropriately by my uncle. Okay? And so there was some trauma there for that LGBTQ community. Still working through it, you know, still trying to understand the community. But there was some feelings there about that. I think about my pops, facts. You know, pops an alcoholic, died an alcoholic all my life. Ended up getting the trach cancer. But growing up, the family, we had always asked, why don't you change? Why don't you stop drinking? Why don't you turn things around? And we were asking the wrong questions. We should have been asking, what happened to you? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel and what did you think? Because see, he saw his pops murdered. He saw his pops murdered at a young age, found his pops murdered. And that's why he turned to the bottle. We know our clients have PTSD. We know that when we roll up on the scene that there's gonna be some PTSD, but I think a bigger question is what about you in this room?
Yeah, I got a lot of post-traumatic.
Like real talk, what about you in this room? Because see, PTSD is just now hitting the underserved community. It hasn't always been there. This is something new to the underserved community. There are a lot of communities that knew about this word. I knew about this word in the 80s. They knew about this word when I caught my case. But the underserved communities didn't know about this word, so we were labeled menace to society. They wasn't saying that he had post-traumatic stress disorder. He's a menace. Get him out of there. Lock him up. Put him in camp. Let's give him some basketball number years. Take him out of the home. And so you've got to be able to look at your own PTSD, and I want to give you some homework tonight. I want to encourage you to go home, man, with a notepad and a pen, and just sit somewhere for about 15 to 30 minutes and think about, what's my PTSD? What sort of stuff do I need to start talking about? What stuff do I need to start getting help with? What stuff do I need to work on? Because I'm going to tell you, if you can't deal with your PTSD, you ain't going to be able to help nobody else deal with theirs. You ain't gonna be able to help nobody else deal with theirs. It's not gonna come around as, it's not gonna come out as genuine. It's not gonna come out as helpful. So think about that. Hopelessness. Hopelessness. This is what some of our people feel when they have PTSD is hopelessness. Okay, these are some of the symptoms. So when you're working with your clients, just realize some of the symptoms you're gonna see is, man, I feel hopeless. So when I feel hopeless, what is it that I wanna do?
Kill.
I wanna what?
Kill.
I wanna kill who?
Anybody.
inside.
I wanna kill anybody inside, even take my own life.
Right.
Okay, cause I'm hopeless. Okay.
Right.
What else happens when I'm hopeless? What else do I feel?
Use drugs.
Addictions, drugs. What else? Give me some other stuff.
Depression.
I feel depressed. Okay.
Anxiety.
Okay. Absolutely. And so these are all signs. These are all symptoms that you got to be looking for when you're working with your clients. That hopelessness. Okay. I call it the iceberg effect. Okay. We got to make sure we're getting to the PTSD and not just dealing with the tip of the iceberg. Okay, that's the iceberg. Here's the water. Okay, and underneath it, you have this huge iceberg. Okay, that's how the Titanic sank. You guys ever heard about the Titanic?
Hit that iceberg.
So the ship is traveling along, right? And they see the tip of it, and they're like, man, we can maneuver around that.
We can run that.
But they didn't realize there was a big chunk of ice up under the water. They didn't have the technology like we do now. So they thought they were going to maneuver around it, and it ended up slitting the whole side of the boat. But had they known there was a big chunk up under there, they could have maneuvered around a little bit earlier. You got to make sure that you're not going off after the tip. Oh, little Johnny, he's sneaking out the window. Oh, man, they doing bad in class. That's going after the tip of it. You got to be able to get to the PTSD, which is the bigger part of it. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
And that's that hopelessness. When you see them symptoms, just know there's PTSD, and I got to be able to find that, and I got to figure out what's happening there, and we got to be able to work together, okay? Right. But when I'm feeling hopeless, I don't know if I'm going to make it to 26, okay? Biggie, Tupac, when I'm feeling hopeless, I don't know if I'm going to make it to 26. So now I'm walking around the community strapped because I feel hopeless. I'm in survival mode. What's survival mode? What happens when I'm in survival mode?
I get them when they get me. Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Okay. What else? What else happens when I'm in survival mode?
I'm real deadly in survival mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dangerous in survival. Okay.
Self-preservation.
Self-preservation. What else happens when I'm in survival mode?
Make bad decisions.
Bad decisions, absolutely. So when I'm in survival mode, I'm making bad decisions. Okay, so I'm not invested in right now. I'm not invested where I'm standing right now. So when me and you are having our one-on-one, I'm not invested in that because I'm in survival mode. When we having our one-on-one, when I'm at your facility, I'm not invested because I'm in survival mode when I'm at your facility. Anything you telling me that's positive, it don't mean much to me right now because I'm in survival mode. Only thing I want to do is try to get a shower, get some food. Can you get me housing? I don't care about no goals. I don't care about no job right now. I don't care about none of that because I'm in survival mode. And you got to be able to recognize that about your clients. Sometimes we say, oh man, that homeless dude stink. But he in survival mode. He don't care about no shower. Hell, that's the last thing he care about is taking a shower. I'm trying to get something to eat tonight. You know it's raining tonight? Survival mode. Some of our clients are in survival mode. Some other symptoms you might see at the tip of that iceberg is outburst. So what happens when they're outburst? What am I doing?
Right now. Yeah.
Okay, what else am I doing?
Help.
What else?
Coping.
Arguing.
Okay, coping, arguing. So I'm bickering with you. I'm fighting you back and forth.
Right.
Okay? I'm not listening to nothing you say. At every angle, at every turn, I'm clapping back. I'm giving it back to you. Okay? A lot of anger. I'm fighting a lot. Okay? A lot of violence. A lot of rage. Okay? I'm constantly taking chances with my life because there's a lot of outbursts because of my PTSD. I'm giving you some symptoms to be able to look for.
I thought you were going to hit us with the Kanye West reference.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
I'm waiting
Yes,
on you.
yes,
You
sir.
niggas went
Man,
on
I'm
the
trying to
back.
squeeze this in right now, bro. I'm trying to squeeze all this in right now. But another thing, your clients at that tip of the iceberg, when they got PTSD, they're going to have problems going to sleep and falling asleep.
And that insomnia.
They don't have absolutely. They have a difficult time going to sleep and falling asleep. Nightmares. So maybe they only getting a couple of hours. You know, maybe they only getting a couple of hours. Okay. And so if I'm only getting a couple of hours of sleep, I'm not going to be in tune to what you said. Okay? I'm going to be agitated. How you feel when you sleepy and you got to go to work? Okay? Yeah, there's a problem with that. So just know that the tip of that iceberg is, man, I might have a problem going to sleep, and then when I go, I might only stay asleep for a couple of hours. Okay? That's how you know there's something going on there. Okay? Hypervigilance. Anybody know what hypervigilance is?
Always on alert.
Always on alert. Always on alert. Okay? Always on alert. So it's increased anxiety. I have increased anxiety, meaning my increased anxiety come around sights. I have a problem when there's light. Okay, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. The sounds, they distract me. The sounds, just a lot of noise. I'm always jumpy. Like, man, what's that? Head is always on the swivel. I have a problem being around people. Okay? I have a problem being around people. Large crowds, large situations. You know, back is always up against the wall. Okay? It's called hypervigilance. Okay? My behavior, there's issues. I'm being negative. Okay? I'm not progressing because I'm in hypervigilance mode. They're always on high alert. Okay? So these are some symptoms that you need to be able to look for to determine whether or not there's some PTSD in there, and you need to get to that PTSD. Okay? That's dealing with the bigger picture. Okay? I'm going to give you a few techniques that I use when it comes to working with people that may have PTSD. You figure out that they have it. Few things that I use is for young kids. If you're going to work with young kids, really young kids, I normally try to get them to draw. You know, young kids, they love drawing. They're into drawing, and so I try to get them to draw. So one of the things I tell them is, I want you to draw what you look like when you're happy. And this is what I tell younger kids. I want you to draw what you look like when you're happy. What might be on that picture? A happy face.
A family. They might picture their family.
Family. Okay. What's that?
Sports.
Sports. What else? A rainbow. Okay, so that's what's on that happy face. Okay, or that's what's on that picture is happiness. And so with that, I'm asking, what makes you happy? So that's the conversation that I'm having, is what makes you happy. Okay, I'm looking for some feedback, some dialogue from them so they can let me know what makes them happy. Okay, and I also do the picture as well. So I'm drawing the picture as well. What makes me happy? Okay, again, we're still working with young kids. The next question I ask them is, when you have a big problem, what do you do? What do you look like when you have a big problem? So I have them draw that on a separate sheet of paper. So what are some things that's going to be on that paper?
A pistol.
A what?
That pistol.
Pistol, sadness, what else?
Drugs.
Drugs, what else might be on that picture? Keep in mind, you were young kids.
A belt.
A belt, okay, what else? Okay, what else?
Dad beating
Negative.
up mom.
What's that?
Dad beating up mom.
Gabby and her mom?
Yeah.
Monster.
Dad
Oh,
beating
I got you.
mom.
Okay, I got you.
Right.
Absolutely. So you might have to describe to that young kid what a big problem looks like. So you might have to have discussion around sadness with them. You might have to have a discussion around them being bullied in school. You might have to have a discussion with them around no friends. Okay? So these are some things that I want to encourage you to do if you're working with young kids. And then the last thing I do when I'm working with young kids is I ask them to draw a picture of what they look like when the big problem is solved. Okay? So when the big problem is solved, that picture might look like, man, I'm riding a bike. The sun is out. Okay? I'm in a nice house. Okay? Or things are just going great. I got a big smile on my face. And so what I ask them with that is, how did you fix the problem? This is how the conversation gets going. Who did you go to fix the problem? Yes, sir.
When you say young kids, what age groups are you talking about?
Anywhere from that 10, 11, 10 on down.
Okay.
That 11, 10 on down, you will get some success. You'll get some success with these pictures. Okay, it'll be able to get you to understand their thinking and their thought process. But not just that, but they'll see that you're drawing these pictures too.
Right.
Okay? When I'm working with teens, now we're talking about getting to the PTSD. These are some techniques to get to that PTSD. When I'm working with teen and young adults, I heard the last group up here talking about sports. It's important, man. It's important to get them teens and them young adults involved in sports. You know, tennis, soccer, volleyball, walking, dancing. It's important to get them involved. It builds character. Okay? You get a chance to vibe off other people as well and talk about how they're working through their issues. So if you have kids yourself, man, you gotta get them in sports, man. It's important. It's the key for them to be able to see some things about their own self. But also with teens and young adults, food. They like to eat. Man, let's go grab a fat burger. Let's go grab a cold pop, man, and go talk in the park. Let's go grab a slice of pizza from Big Sal's. Food. Teens and young adults, they love to eat. So grab some food. And when you go spend some time with them and you grabbing food, just don't talk about all the bad stuff. Talk about good stuff. Talk about stuff they want to talk about. But it's important that you get the teens and young adults in sports and you get them eating, having some fun over food. For the older generation, I try to get them involved in mindfulness. You guys know what mindfulness is? What is mindfulness?
Meditating, Tai Chi.
Absolutely. Mindfulness. So I try to get them in breathing techniques. Okay? Breathing techniques. It helps reduce some of that stress. Okay? Give you an example. We're going to take a few deep breaths right now. Okay? So I want you to close your eyes. Don't go to sleep on me. Don't go to sleep on me. Close your eyes, feet on the floor. Let's keep it quiet here for a few seconds. And this is a breathing technique you can help the older folks do that you work with. Okay? On the count of 3, we're going to take a really deep breath in, and then we're going to breathe out, okay? 1.